Hi, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Sidelines Unite team call. It's September 18, can you believe it? And we're just so delighted to have a guest with us tonight. I'm Tammy Ray, Regional Vice President and Independent Consultant with Arbonne, and just more and more grateful every day for this amazing company that we call Arbonne that we get to be a part of. And what's so awesome about this Sidelines Unite call is that we're not on each other's team, a lot of us, but we're all under the same family. And and I love that. I love that that's our culture in Arbonne, is that we lock arms with each other, no matter whose team we're on, because we are family. And our roots are going to grow together so we can grow our team strong and tall, just like the Arbonne tree. So there you go. So I'm just thrilled to have our guest tonight, new Regional Vice President, Krissy Westphal. I love the story of how we met, which I'll tell you in just a second. Krissy is kind enough to be coming on for us from Omaha, Nebraska. So she's going to light Nebraska on fire, put Nebraska on the map. Are there any NVPs in Nebraska? There are?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll be one of the few then, though.
You know it. You know it.
I'm excited. So Krissy's been here for 4 years, and her background is in education. She has 3 kids. I love that, as you know, as many of us have experienced when we're inviting people to take a look at Arbonne, Krissy was an adamant, no thank you. She actually joined Arbonne because she actually feared missing out on something. She didn't have a strong why at first, and maybe some of you can relate to that. And Krissy and I actually met by the pool in right after GTC of 2013, and that was right around the time I made a decision to actually adhere to our system and go full on with Arbonne. I had never really committed and made that commitment before. And we got to talking by the pool, and I don't know if it was like 2 hours or 5 hours that went by, but we were just like totally immersed in this conversation. And Krissy was an area manager. I was a district manager. I'd been in the district for 7 or 8 years, a bunch of years, and I just looked at Krissy in awe, like, wow, how does someone get to area? I just couldn't figure it out. I just wanted to sit at her feet and learn from her because she was there with a team. And I just thought, wow, someday I'm going to be an area manager too. And but what was cool about both of us, I think, when I look back at that conversation, is that we could see ourselves successful even before we had our region team. I really believe that we were both lifers even back in 2013. And so if you're here tonight listening in and you're feeling like, when will my team come? Just hang in there. Every day we're learning something new, right? And just hang on to your commitment and lock arms with amazing Sidelines. And yes, we're all going to the top together. So I can't wait to hear from Krissy tonight. I know she has some great mindset training for us, which we all need every day. So thank you so much again, Krissy, for being with us. Love you. Mwah.
Yay, this is exciting. So what Tammy doesn't know is that I'm sitting at the pool after GTC. And for those of you guys that have been to GTC, you leave there like on belief overload. Like, anybody I talk to is going to join my business. And so here I am, and there's like this beautiful group of women over on this side of the pool. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm going to go and talk to those ladies about Arbonne. And duh, I should have known that they were already in Arbonne because they were all beautiful. When you go to Vegas and you go to GTC, it's like everyone that's beautiful is in Arbonne. So what a heart Tammy has, and you guys know this about her. So here I was telling my story, which everybody's story is their own story, right? But when I heard Tammy's story and her whole history of the things that were happening in her family and the illnesses and things like that, like, we were both in tears about it. I just had never thought about Arbonne like that on such a huge level, and how I knew our products were amazing, but I didn't know they were that amazing, And so that conversation was a real connector for me. And one of the things that I love about Arbonne is the people you meet along the way. So obviously Tammy and I didn't know each other. We met at a pool. I was going to try and prospect her, but little did I know somebody else already had. But now we get to see each other at random places. Like we saw each other on the cruise in the Bahamas, which was cool. And then we've seen each other the past few years at Green Bay. So I love that, you know, you have your Arbonne friends that you only see at Arbonne events that are from around the country and around the world. And so super honored, Tammy, that you invited me to talk to you guys tonight. So I'm just a super real person, you guys. My team knows this about me, and I am not a sugarcoater. I am not a foo-foo goo-goo kind of person. I am like a shoot you straight kind of person. So I just always let everybody know that ahead of time. Like if you were looking for hugs and kisses, I am not a really, that's just not my strength zone. So I just want to tell you first a little bit about my story. Tammy kind of told you a little bit, but so 4 years ago, I was working in the schools. So I'm a teacher by trade, and I was working up the educational ladder. So I actually had a administrative position at the time. I was in round 2 of grad school, because in education, that's what you do. You go and get more degrees in order to get paid more. And the funny thing is, looking back on it now, I think that is such a backward system, because you go and get more degrees to get paid more, but you take out a loan to get the degree. So then you get a pay increase, which is slight. And that pay increase really just goes to pay for the loan that you took out to get the degree in the first place. So that's what I was doing. I saw myself as a principal or something like that down the road. And so when a friend of mine asked me to take a look at Arbonne, I was like, oh no, I am so sorry for you that you do something like that. Like those are kind of embarrassing and weird, and that's just not for me. That is how like closed-minded I was about this. So the fact that she even asked me, like I still today, I'm like, I can't believe you asked me, because that was really brave of you. You know, how you have people that you're afraid to ask. She was super afraid to ask me, and then I was kind of a jerk about it. So I was in round 2 of grad school. I was pregnant with number 3, and I just really liked my job. I just didn't really see something like this for me. And then ultimately what happened, and I can tell Arbonne people this, is that another girl at my school decided to join. So my now sponsor was like, here's the deal. You need to join, because you introduced me to her, so you would already have a team. So I was like, well, okay, what's the worst that can happen kind of thing. And I had like this fear of missing out, like Tammy said. So I started Arbonne without this big reason. And I don't know if you guys ever are asked what your why is, or why are you doing this, and your why needs to make you cry, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I just don't know what my why is. I don't have a why. And that held me back for a really long time, because I just couldn't find that connection. And finally my sponsor was like, we need to come up with something why you're doing this, to like give you some motivation. And she was like, what is something that you would like? What is something that would make your life easier? And I said, you know what? A cleaning lady. I would like a cleaning lady. Like, can I get an amen for that? Like someone to come in and clean my house. Like, that sounds amazing. She goes, yep, let's go with that. Your why now is to have a cleaning lady. And so it was so funny. We laugh about it now, but that was my original why. So I started my business. Everything was going well. I got to district pretty fast, you know, and the strong start. Actually, I was a strong start dropout, because I missed something by like $50 or something dumb, but it doesn't matter. So I got to district in the first 2 months, and then somebody's saying cleaning lady already. And it never fails whenever I get on a call, my dog starts barking. So let's just go with that too. So then my business started rolling, and I started thinking, what if I could get to area manager? Do you think I could get to area manager? My sponsor's like, yeah. If I could get to area manager by the end of this school year, I think I'm going to consider quitting my job. And you guys, I was never somebody that wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That idea did not entice me. I was very career focused. And in fact, I was somebody that would say, oh, a stay-at-home mom, but I do not know how you guys do that. Like, you have to be losing your mind. Like, again, I was so different back then. So while the universe apparently was listening, because I returned from maternity leave, my principal called me into his office and he said, here's the deal. I'm feeling sick about this, but I have to tell you, our budget has been cut for the next school year, and we cannot afford your position anymore. And I just kind of sat there like, oh my gosh, this is weird. Because in the back of my mind, I was already wanting to quit, right? but the school year wasn't over yet and I wasn't an area manager yet. So I was like, oh, this is tricky. So I ended up saying, you know what? Here's the thing. I have this business on the side. I've been working at it. And actually maybe this is just the push that I need. So he said, you can go work at a different school or you can go back into the classroom and be a teacher. And I'm like, that's just not what I want anymore. And so I just said, thank you, but no, thank you. And that school year was my last school year of working full time. The funny thing is, you guys, I promoted to area manager on the last day of school. Isn't that weird? So it all works out. But it was then that I figured out what my real why is. We talk to people all the time about having a plan B. This was it. I was like living it in real color, you know, like I never thought that something like that would happen to me because I was successful and I did well at any position I was given. And here I was in the face of, we can't afford you anymore. So Arbonne figured it out for me. The real reason I was doing this was for the backup plan. So I don't know if you have a sick family member or if somebody loses their job or whatever, but having a plan B is smart no matter what. I tell prospects that all the time, Arbonne or not, diversifying your money is just a good idea. So Arbonne saved us for so many reasons. So I got to area, I would say, at a pretty decent pace. I wasn't like gunning for anything. I think that my business was just in enough momentum that I got there pretty organically. But I was really proud of being an area manager. Like I thought I was, you know, a big deal. But you guys know a title doesn't mean anything. A title doesn't mean anything. And I think that's why I sat at area for 3 years, because I got comfortable. And obviously looking back on it, I had a lot of growing to do. Personally, you know, it's all, so much of this happens between our ears. So at GTC that year, I think the same year I met Tammy, I remember sitting there. I probably had, I don't know, 3 or 4 people with me. So I felt pretty cool. Cecilia Stoll was the keynote, and she said something that kind of like throat punched me. She said, the team that gets you to district is not going to be the team that gets you to area. The team that gets you to area is not going to get you to region. And the team that gets you to region is not going to be the team that gets you to nation. And I was like, what? Like, I have these people, they say they're going to go area, so that means I'm going to go here. Like, what are you talking about? And I had like this huge aha, like I have not made it. I have got to keep going. But think of it, like if you did have the team that was supposed to get you where you were wanting to be, you would be there, right? So if you're an area and you're ready to go region, you would be a region if you had the team to get you there. If you're a district trying to go area, same thing. So I sat at GTC thinking like, okay, I got to get moving. I got to start sponsoring people. But I had some ego stuff to get over. I'm sure you guys kind of heard that coming out when I was telling my story. I had a lot of ego stuff to get over. And it wasn't until Green Bay last year where one of the speakers, I can't even tell you who it was, said something so simple, but it like changed me. I'm sure you guys have read On Fire when he talks about inflection points. So this was an inflection point for me. The speaker said, just go get the car. Stop making this complicated. Just go get it. And I was like, okay, that's all I have to do is go get the car. So I got to work. But the funny thing was at this Green Bay, just a few weeks ago, one of the speakers said, you won't get the car until you don't need the car. So looking at all of that growth I'd had, know that that's going to happen for you. Okay. But that first August, I was telling you guys about, not this August, but last August was probably the lowest point in my business. So I was at Green Bay surrounded by all these people. Tammy had just promoted a region and here I was still sitting at area. And I was in a funk. I could not get past, like we would just go in and out of $10,000 to $15,000, $10,000 to $15,000. I'm like, I just don't ever see us even getting to 20. Like I could just get to 20. That would feel so good. And I couldn't get there. So if there was ever a time I would have quit, it would have been then. It was that month. I was like, I cannot see this growing anymore. So like I said, you guys, I'm a straight shooter, and I started thinking about this whole thing as Tammy asked me to talk to you guys tonight. And I decided to kind of do 10 things that, I don't know if you want to call them tips. I don't care what you call them, but like 10 things I learned on my road to region, because I want it to be your road to region too. Because everybody's on the road to region. Everybody. If you're a consultant or an area or region or road to nation, call it whatever you want. Because every title is just a stopping point. It's just like a stop sign, not even that, maybe like a yield sign, you know what I mean? Because we don't want to stay someplace for too long. So when I was in that month of August where it was bad, like, have you guys ever had months like that where you're just like, man, this is not looking good? I couldn't book a party. I couldn't get anybody to get on a call with me. My team was in the dumps too. And we all know why my team was in the dumps, because I was in the dumps. So I just had to have a major mind shift and be like, okay, I have to go book my calendar. I mean, people say it all the time, but like I really had to do it and had to get uncomfortable and get people. And had I not done that, you guys, I would not be here today. So I want you to know that from last August to April, we went from 12,000 to 55,000. Okay. So that's 8 months. So wherever you're at now, I hope you're sitting there thinking, if this girl can do it, I can do it, because I am as normal as it gets. And oftentimes a bit awkward and inappropriate. So I hope that doesn't come out, but you just never know with me. Okay. So 10 things I've learned on my little journey here. The first thing is show up. This is so simple. You guys, props to you for getting on this call tonight. I know you probably got kids that are needing to go to bed, or maybe you didn't get supper done, or maybe you're just tired because you had a really long weekend. Showing up on the calls is awesome. Every single week. I think you have weekly calls, right? Every week. Okay. Show up on that call every week. I don't care, no matter what. Go to every monthly meeting, every Discover Arbonne, whatever your monthly thing is, go to it. And if you don't have one, because I know that Tammy's in one state and you guys might be in a different state, find a group to plug into. It is so important to be with people who are like-minded, who are doing this, because no one gets to the top of this company by themselves. No one. So if you think you can do it one way, or if you think you don't have to go to something or show up to something, I mean, how's that working out for you? That's what I always think. Like this, it doesn't, as much as we want to do it by ourselves, we can't. You have an amazing upline, use her. GTC, Impact, everything that Arbonne offers, find a way to get there, you guys. That is where the magic happens, is when you get to meet people like me meeting Tammy at the pool. Those are things that you need to grow your business, because you are going to need people to talk to about this. And I don't know about what your friends and family are like, but that's not always the people I want to talk to about my Arbonne business. You know, I need to talk to people who get it. Okay, number 2, there is no secret. I don't know if you're waiting for someone to give you like this big aha. Well, if you do this, and even though I'm telling you to do 6 parties a month or whatever your system is, if I'm telling you to do that, actually there's like a backdoor way. There's not, you guys. There is no secret. Whatever your system is, all of us do the same thing. We tell the story, we find a fit. We tell the story, we find a fit. It's that simple, okay? So trust what Tammy's telling you, because she is where you want to be. And she knows her stuff, okay? So there is no secret. Number 3 is remove the option to quit. This is big. I told you what happened last August. I mean, how dumb was that of me? But it's real. Like, that's really how I felt. And people are going to quit. People are going to quit on you. People are going to get to a certain level in their business and they're going to quit. You are the one that's not going to quit. Okay? Remove that option. I will not quit. Because so many people want this, but they don't want to work for it. So it's like a desire thing. It's like, okay, you don't want to go to work every day, but you still do, right? So don't treat this any differently. So many people treat this like a $79 hobby when they really should be treating it like a multi-million-dollar business, because that is what it is. Okay? So remove the option to quit. I'm telling you, you're going to have your ups and your downs, and they're not going to go away. It gets a little bit easier because you've experienced more of it the longer that you're in it. So if somebody hasn't quit on you yet, they will. And I don't say that to be mean. I just tell you that to protect your mindset. Okay? Number 4 is to be humble, or you will get humbled. This business humbles people, you guys, because first of all, we have to get super uncomfortable and vulnerable with people, and that's just awkward in itself, right? But you cannot get anywhere past district manager by yourself. You cannot get to area manager by yourself. You certainly can't get to region and nation. And so you learn very quickly to be grateful for your team. Get to know them, get to know their family, know their children, hang out together on a Friday night without an Arbonne thing happening, you know? Get to know these people. Because, I mean, just think about getting to area, right? Let's say, so it's $10,000 to go into area qual. And if everybody's doing their 2,500 brick, which we know doesn't always happen, you're only 1/4 of that if you're doing your 2,500 brick. So if you don't come into Arbonne humble, you will get humbled because of the magnitude of what this business will do for you. This one is my favorite. I think this was my biggest. Number 5 is remove the lid. So this was what was holding me back from going from area to region. So wherever you're at and you're looking at that next step, consultant to district, whatever it is, we all have a lid that we put on ourselves. Okay? And so like if I were going to ask you, what's your number on a scale of 1 to 10 with your belief in Arbonne? And you were to like be really honest and say what that number is. Let's just say you said it was a 7. Your team will never grow past a 7. Your team will stay at a 6 until you remove the lid. Okay. I used to think for going region, I was like, well, when so-and-so just gets to area and so-and-so gets their DM bonus, like they keep telling me they're going to get, and so-and-so does this and so-and-so does this, that's when I'm going to get to region. I was wrong in that thinking. I had to make the decision that I was going region to open up the possibility for my team to promote as well. Okay. So you have to remove that lid because your team will not grow farther than you are. So you have to be that leader that's taking them there. And people are like, well, how do I remove the lid? Like, I don't know what to do. You have to really get honest with yourself, and you have to kind of see where your leaks are. Because I think that there's like 4 belief things: belief in the products, belief in Arbonne, belief in the industry itself, and then belief in yourself, right? So if you were going to like rank yourself, give you a 1 to 10 scale on those 4 things, where would you, sorry, Luke, can you turn that down? My husband, now it's the husband, I'm telling you. Most people like the products. Most people don't have a belief in the products issue, right? Most people have a belief in Arbonne. You know it works because you see Tammy driving that Mercedes, so you know it works. Most people their belief issues lies within the industry or in themselves. And frankly, most people, it's belief in yourself, okay? So when you want to remove that lid, the only way to do it is through number 6, which is personal development. I resisted this for a really long time. I could be like, I don't know how people have time to read. I do not have time to read. Like, I'll find an audiobook, but I'm not going to read. Like, I just don't have time for that. you guys, I wish that you would just believe me and do this, because people were beating me over the head with it and I still wasn't doing it. Even Cecilia Stoll says the one thing she wished she had done more faster was personal development. So find out where your belief leak is and go for those books. Go for those audios. Go for all of those things, because that is the only thing that's going to help you remove your lid. Okay? On Fire, woo. That book was amazing. If you haven't read a book yet, start there. It's that good. But you find books that you really like. I like books that shoot me straight, because I'm a straight shooter. So something like You Are a Badass. I like that book because she talks like I talk. So find whatever speaks to you. I also really like Brene Brown. She is an expert on vulnerability. This opened my eyes to so many things this year. So treat it like a class almost. You have to be serious about getting better, or you will stay where you're at. Okay? And maybe you're okay where you're at. I don't know. But I don't think most people come into this business to be district managers. I really don't. We all say that in the beginning, like, yeah, well, an extra $250 a month would be nice. But really, an extra $5,000 a month would be nice, right? So remove the lid and dive into personal development. So with number 6 being personal development, you guys, I have had a huge aha this year about vulnerability. I don't know about you, but in the beginning of my business, I felt like I always had to be like super professional and know my stuff. And I don't know, I just wasn't relatable. You know what I mean? And people, so finally I had my sponsor come. I'm area going region. I'm like, you gotta start coming to my parties. I don't know what is going on in my parties, but I'm just not making any progress. Like, I'm selling product, but I'm not finding any team members, which I know there's lots of great team members at these parties. And so she goes and she's like, here's the deal. You're too good. You are too good. And people are sitting there thinking, I could never do this. She said, you need to suck more. That is honestly what she said to me. And so I was like, I can do that. So I'm not going to get awkward about that, but I know where you guys are thinking. But anyway, so I just started being like super vulnerable from like Brene, like you're talking about daring greatly. Brene is just like, let your freak flag fly. Be yourself. Stop trying to be somebody else. Go in there and just have fun with people. And so, I used to like set everything up so perfectly and blah, blah, blah. It was like so boring. Who wants that? People have that in their everyday job, right? That is why we want Arbonne to be different, is that we're fun. I'm going to tell you this funny story. So I'm at a party last couple weeks ago, and my go-to statement is, tell me about your day. That always opens it up to something. I don't say, what do you do? Because I feel like that can kind of come off weird. I say, tell me about your day. And then they might say, oh, I went to work. And that's when I can say, oh, where do you work at? So this girl worked at this zoo, the zoo here, the Lincoln Zoo. And I go, oh man, the zoo, I bet you have a lot of funny zoo stories. And she goes, well, actually I do. She said, did you know that an armadillo's penis is 2 feet long? I cannot make this stuff up, you guys. I was like, well, no, I didn't, but this is interesting. Like, tell me more. So it's something like that, where immediately the wall comes down, right? I'm not going to go into the whole story. You guys can Google it and all, whatever you weirdos want to do. But I'm telling you, like, from that point on, it was just like girlfriends sitting around chit-chatting versus me being the Arbonne stuffy woman in the corner. I was just like laughing with them and telling funny stories too. So then moving into the presentation part got really easy. And at the end of the party, they're like, this isn't what we thought it was going to be. We thought this was going to be, one way. And really, I mean, you gave us so much information, but you weren't pushy or weird. You were just relatable. And that's the biggest compliment I think we can get, you guys, is that was, you know, you were supernatural about that. And so that's my goal now. So if you're feeling awkward and you don't know what to say, here is a funny thing to say. I'm telling you, it works every time. But you have to be bold enough to say it. So like walk in there like the badass that you are and be like, I'm going to rock this room. So I say, here's the deal, ladies. If my Spanx are showing, will you just do me a solid and let me know? And they're always like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Whether I'm wearing Spanx or not, like right away, they're like, oh, that girl is normal because she has to wear Spanx and I wear Spanx and Spanx are uncomfortable. So it's just like a really funny thing. Okay. So if that's not your phrase, you don't want to say that, say something else. I guarantee you will feel the mood in the room drop and everybody's ready to have fun. Because again, we don't want this to feel like corporate. We want this to be Arbonne, and Arbonne's fun. But don't be something you're not, you guys. If that feels totally weird for you, don't do it. But like, get really in touch with yourself and have fun and be funny and just stop trying to be perfect, because perfect is not duplicatable. Okay. Okay. Number 7 is keep it simple. Keep it simple, you guys. What we do is not hard. It's not hard. We share the story. We find a fit. But you can get into places where you're like in a funk, and then you start looking at what other teams are doing. You start looking at other teams' websites, or you try and do something on your own, which, whatever. Everybody's going to do that at some point. But just stop making this hard. You need to get in front of people and tell the story and see if it's for them or not, okay? And if it's not for them, the products are. In fact, I had a prospect the other day tell me, I really like the way you went about this because you shared the business with me first. We hadn't even really talked about the products yet. So if you're not leading with the business, you should. Because if you lead with the products and they don't like the products, you've got nowhere to go from there. But when you lead with the business and you explain everything, and you tell them about what all is with it, they're more likely to like the products. They're more likely to want to host for you or refer for you. But if you just give them a sample with nothing and, you know, one RE9 thing makes their face red, you know, it's really hard to get back from that. So I always say lead with the business and keep it simple. And use your upline. Tammy is there, third party. I'm sure you guys do third party. Like when you have somebody that's intrigued and you want them to meet some other people, use your upline. She's there for a reason. I tell my team, I have this Mercedes. I want to use it. I want to use it to help you guys. So let's do this together. You know, I don't want to just sitting in my garage. Like, let's go. Let's do stuff. Okay. So number 8 is one of my favorites, and I'm notorious for saying this. Number 8 is don't be weird. We can make this really weird. Like you start fumbling over your words. My rule of thumb is if you feel like you're saying too much, you probably are. So don't be weird. You want that compliment of people to say, that was fun, that was funny, or this was awesome. You want that. You don't want crickets. Okay? So people can get weird because they feel like they need to act a certain way or present the same way that someone else does that they really like. Don't. Just be you. I can't stress that enough, that, you know, you probably have like sample verbiage or all those types of things or whatever you would normally say. If one person says it one way and it's not rolling off your tongue very well, find a way to make it work for you. Okay? Don't be weird. You go weird, you're going to lose people. Okay? So get really comfortable in just making this simple. Hey, I've got this really great opportunity. I don't know if it's for you, but let's have a chat. Cool? Okay. You know what I mean? Versus, I don't know. I think sometimes people can make it really weird. So just don't do that. Okay. Number 9 is abundance. Abundance is so important in so many things in our life. But here's the thing. Scarcity is waiting behind every canceled appointment. It's waiting behind every no-show, every party with 0 sales, every person that quits, That is where it's lurking. Okay. So with abundance, you train your brain to think that way. And you do that through all the personal development that we talked about before. But I used to think like, I'm going to get that car so I can show so-and-so that this works. That is not abundant thinking. That's scarcity. Go get the car to show your team that this works. Go get the car for it to be the proof to all your supporters and cheerers and everybody that's ever purchased something from you. Go get the car for your future team that you haven't even met yet. Okay? Don't think about the car as a ha-ha, I did it, proved you wrong. Let it be that symbol of proof for all that support you, for everyone that believes you. Okay, and the last one, number 10, is, and this one is a little bit more serious. I know I've been like silly and weird, and that's just kind of what I do, but the last one is for real. And that is this. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Everyone is worthy of being successful and deserves to win just for your family alone. All of you deserve success. You all have the potential inside you to become an ENVP, and it doesn't even matter if you don't believe that for yourself right now. It doesn't matter. Know that you already have it in you. We are designed for success, but programmed for failure. That's a big one. We are designed for success, but programmed for failure. We all have greatness inside of us, but we can let all these outside things mess with us, right? The only thing that prevents it from shining is your mindset. So go and get really strong on your mind. And how do you do that? By plugging in, by showing up, by doing all these things I just said, and by reading those books. And don't just read the books, like put them into play. Like you got to do something about it. You can't just read it and like put it back on the shelf. You have to let it go out into your life. Okay. Everything else in Arbonne, you can learn, right? Tammy's going to teach you, or your upline's going to teach you. You can learn all the other stuff. But the greatness is already there. You are enough. So stop questioning yourself. Stop saying, can I do this? Stop saying, maybe it's not for me. Stop saying she has a better upline or a better downline or a better sideline or a better whatever. Because you have it already. So don't be afraid to go out and share it, because we already know it's not going to be for everybody. We know that going into this. But you are out there looking for your Tammy and your ace that you're going to sponsor, because you will change someone's life. Had my sponsor not been brave enough to ask me, I would still be working, 40, 50 hours a week. I would still be dropping my kids off at daycare every single day. I would still be that stressed out, that the weekends were just spent getting ready for the next week. No real time to enjoy each other in the moment. So get out of your head, because you are enough and you are an ENVP because you can build this. Okay? I think I've reached my time limit. I don't even know how long I'm supposed to be talking, Tammy, but geez Louise, you guys. What does Jerry say? He says, can I get some? What does he say? Anyway.
I can't remember. We just saw Jerry, but I can't remember that one. Well, I'd love to open it. Thank you, Krissy. You just poured into it. I took a ton of notes, which I have a few things to say about them, but I just wanted to open it up if anyone has questions for Krissy. I know we have this big chat going too. It's great.
I gotta get on the chat because I wasn't looking at that.
I love.
Krissy?
Oh, go ahead.
Krissy,
Yes.
I just want to say thank you. I love how you just tell it like it is and you don't sugarcoat it, because I think sometimes that's just what we need to hear, especially me. So thank you. I loved it.
Thank you for saying that. That means a lot. And sometimes what we don't want to hear is what we need to hear, right? We just don't want to hear it.
Yes.
Well, and to your point, Krissy, this is a business where we can get to the top and be successful by being exactly who we are. And really, that's the only way. We have to be exactly who we are. And you know what I mean? Like just how you were saying, not to be weird or just to be you, be real, be vulnerable, be the imperfect, beautiful you.
Yeah, it's like the more reading I'm doing, like the more I'm learning about myself and liking myself. Because I like myself best when I'm around my Arbonne family. Because I don't know what it is, but we have so much fun together. And so it's like, how can I take that to the rest of my world? But you get to know yourself better and like yourself better the more that you stop trying to be somebody else.
Right. I love it. I love how you said no one gets the top of this company by themselves. Thank you. That just feeds right into our precious Sidelines Unite calls. That's what this is for, so that we can just lock arms together and pool our strengths. I'd love to, I was thinking as you were talking about, you mentioned ego at the beginning of your journey, and then speaking about abundance too, and just how really ego is scarcity. If you think about that, and we all come into this business with ego, so it's like, okay, just be prepared to be humbled and to, squelch out that ego.
It's so true, because whether you want it to happen or not, it's going to. So you might as well just know it's going to happen and be ready for it.
Mm-hmm. So true. And does anyone else have questions? I'm just going to keep asking. Oh, go ahead, Carissa. Can you unmute yourself? Oh, you can't? Okay, hold on. Where am I? Oh, here. Okay, you're unmuted. Oh, we still can't hear you though.
Tap your screen and push the microphone button.
Well, she's unmuted, but something's not quite right. Poor Amy, you had that before. What did you have to do?
I had to do an upgrade with Zoom.
What if you unplug your headphones?
Can you unplug your headphones, Carissa?
Like take them out of the phone or whatever you're on.
Can you type your question?
Just type it. I'll answer it. Just type it.
Yeah. And yes, because we definitely want to hear from you, Carissa. And then I was going to ask you too. So, okay, so this is something that we've sort of talked about, but I didn't really know how it all works with the third party. Do you do like third party validation calls with your upline with people how does that work? What do you do? I know we did some stuff long ago, but we didn't really stick with it. And I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And I don't want to change anything about your system, so I'm just going to keep it we can talk maybe more specifically about it later, but here's the deal. Third-party validation is just the psychology of decision-making. Two people saying they've done something is better than one. Just like if you're at a store and you're like, I don't know if I want the red one or the purple one, and the one girl is like, oh, you should get the red one, and somebody walking by goes, definitely the red one. You're going to get the red one, right? So for third party, what we do with Arbonne is when I have someone on my team, we kind of do when people are intrigued, we ask them 4 questions, like after we've shared a little bit about Arbonne. And the last question is a scale question. And so when they're, when they're on the higher end of the scale, then our next appointment is more in depth about the business versus a high level, because I don't want to go and spend time with people who don't want to know about this. You know what I mean? So we actually start with a video and then ask 4 questions. And then when someone's high on the scale, then I say, awesome, let's continue this conversation on Wednesday. I'm going to get my friend Krissy on the phone. She knows so much more about this than I do. And we're just going to continue this conversation. And so then we have a document that we use that kind of guides our conversation. It's just whatever you guys have that's like a 1-page sheet about Arbonne info. And we just get on it together. And it's not like me talking and everybody else just listens. It's just 2 people that know about Arbonne and then 1 prospect.
And you're sort of like asking them what their, what they loved, what their hesitations are, what, like those kinds of questions.
So we do, what did you like best? What did you like best? What surprised you? Who came to mind that you thought would like these products or the business? And then the fourth one is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, you know what, just you don't even ever talk to me about this again, all the way up to a 10. I don't know. There's something intriguing about this. I could see myself doing this. Where do you find yourself on that scale? So when anybody is a 5 or above, our next appointment is a business conversation where it would be like a shorter DA for lack of better. And then when there are 4 or less, we just go with the products or ask them to host.
I love it. That's awesome. Yes.
Thank you.
I unmuted myself.
Oh, yay!
You did. Teresa.
Technology is a love-hate relationship.
I get it.
But yes, On Fire is amazing. I'm only like a couple chapters in, but I love what you said about, and thank you for solidifying that on being real, taking the mask off, and because that's what he talks about in, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 of them, but taking the mask off and being real. And I love that because that's what I was so afraid of before, because I'm like, oh, people won't like me. But that was my wall, and I was making it complicated. And that's why people were like, you're making it complicated. This is too hard. And so thank you for solidifying that today.
Absolutely. And I think Dana Collins talked at Green Bay about warmth and competence. Like if you're having a sponsoring problem, it's typically one of 2 things, warmth or competence. And competence is a skill that can be learned. Warmth is like a character trait that you really have to work on. And it doesn't come out authentic until you really get authentic. But someone, you can read someone's energy right away. Like I can already tell your energy is super cool and I would like to have, drink with you because I think I can just tell that you have a cool vibe about you.
Yeah, let's go.
Right? How far are you from Omaha?
I'm in Nashville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Let's go.
Right. Or maybe a Zoom drink. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that. Zoom date.
I love it. See, that's like third party right there. So really think about that. If you're having a sponsoring problem, where you think which one of those 2, could be where you need to work on. And it's tough. It's tough because we have to be real with ourselves.
It sucks being real. Like it's hard. Like it was tough. And that was a personal development thing that I had to work on really hard. And it sucks digging down deep and finding your defects, but it's also a beautiful, miraculous thing that happens once you do, because it's like, then you're like, this is me. I don't care if you like me or not. It's like, this is me. Here I am. Join my team. If not, peace out. I'll go join.
But here's the thing. I think that once you say something, most people go, me too, versus, oh, really? So
yeah. They connect more with you.
Yeah. Whenever somebody tells me something that's like weird or like faux pas, I love them so much more because I probably have already had it happen to me. Like one time I was at a party and I sneezed and I peed my pants. And I was like, okay, so I just peed my pants.
It happens after having children.
Yeah, believe me. It's really fun. And I was just laughing so hard and they were laughing so hard. But like normally that would be something that like in my prior life, I'd be like, oh, well, excuse me, or whatever. Like, like, here's the deal, you guys. I've had kids and it just doesn't all work right down there anymore. So let's just keep going. You know what I mean? So everyone, and the moms in that room were going, me too.
Me too. Yeah. Like, glad somebody said it.
Why do we have to act like it doesn't happen? Because it does. Those things that unite us more than acting like somebody else.
Yes. And that's what you want on your team, is somebody that's like you. And so if you can relate, instead of finding the differences, and that was another thing, I would find like all these differences of like people and everything. And it's like, find the common that you have, And
the common might just be that you can all be vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like everybody does. Exactly. You don't want everybody to be the same. You want to all like different things and do other things or whatever, but
exactly
get to know each other.
And Carissa, think about this. We're all struggling. Just some of us cover it up better. But we're all struggling. And that's actually what connects all of us. We're all the same in that way.
Yeah. And that's what I love about On Fire. He was talking about the mask. And, you know, you can put on the mask, you know. And that was such a great what he said, you know.
Keep going. The book gets even better.
I know. I'm like, okay, great call. I'm going to go finish reading now. I'm extremely tired because I just got back from Chicago Impact.
Awesome. So thank you, Krissa. I'd love to hear too, because I know there's at least 3 people on the call, if not more, who would love to hear what your team looked like when you were teeing up to go into Region Qual, because there's several people on this call that are thinking about that right now and like wondering if they're, you know, is this the month? Is, you know, what does my team need to look like? What was that time period for you? Because that should be fresh in your mind. You just promoted, right?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were asking your team.
The new region.
What does my team look like?
What did your team look like going into Qual, and what was going through your mind? Did you know you were going to go into Qual that month? How, you know, what were you, what was it like? I mean, so I'm kind of a numbers person. I track my numbers like a business because I think that something that we do often that is a detriment is that we hope for a good month. Like, I hope this is going to be my month, but the longer you're in this, the more you can kind of track your volume and your sponsoring. So you can see when the growth is happening, and you can also compare one August to the next August. And when you're in long enough, you can know when the dips are and when the upswings are. So I had just promoted my first area manager. I had one in Qual and several district managers. So when you think that you have to have 4 area managers to be a region, it doesn't always work out that way. Like, everybody's team makeup is so different. But I had been hovering around 30 for a while. And so I was like, let's do it. Let's just see what happens. Let's do a little push. And we got to 40. And then the next month was GTC, which is always a big month. And we finished that month. But, you know, I think we do ourselves a disservice if we say we didn't know it was going to happen, because I knew it was going to happen. I believed it was going to happen. I didn't necessarily always know when it was going to happen, but I always knew that I would have the car. I know that I will be an ENVP. I know that you guys will be ENVPs as well. And you'll be like, I was on a call one time with you and you were talking about armadillo penises. So that is, there was a definite commotion going on in my business during those region, and life can get a little crazy. Like, there's a lot of hot dogs for dinner and stuff that you would probably like, laundry, just go buy new clothes, just go buy new underwear. You don't have time to do laundry. Love it. I love it. So who else? Does anyone else have a question for Krissy? Oh, go ahead, Erin.
I don't have a question. I just have thank you for your realness, because I'm sitting here with a boob out, feeding the kid, and like trying to take it all in. I'm like messaging Carissa with one hand, like, you got those notes because I don't.
That's real right there.
I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
I love seeing your baby.
I would love her to sleep right now.
Aww.
Just keep feeding her. She'll go in a milk coma soon.
Oh, I love it. See? It's all real.
So I have to go to my team call in 3 minutes, you guys. So does anybody else have anything else they want me to answer? Yeah, go ahead.
No questions. I just loved your realness too, but I loved your statement. People are getting ready for the weekends. You said the weekends are spent getting ready for the week. And I talked to one of my consultants today who is getting ready for her work week. And it just, yeah. It's so true.
But you don't know until you know, right? Because I just thought that's how my life would be. And so it took something like this to really shake it up and know that something else is possible, because I wasn't even looking for anything else. But looking back on it, like, your weekends are just spent getting ready for the next week. and maybe throw in one fun thing, and then you just go back at it on Monday. So now it's like, I don't ever want to go back to that again. So there's a why for you right there, is just have weekends.
I love it.
And your weeks are your weekends, quite frankly. When you can get out of your JOB.
I love it. Thank you again so much, Krissy, for pouring into us. And we just appreciate you so much. And it's going to be fun. We are all Going Nation. So.
Oh my gosh. I love you guys. Find me on Facebook. Let's become friends so we can talk about more inappropriate things.
And yes, we are enough. Everyone is worthy. We all deserve success. Our family is worthy of our success. We're designed for success, but programmed for failure. So that means we just need to work on changing our programming, you guys. So there you go. That's your homework for the week. Make this a September to remember. Love you all so much. We'll see you next week. Good
Bye, everybody.